that's right. Today we are gonna build a joystick game controller for Subway Surfers and other games. So how do we play Subway Surfers on a computer? We use WASD, right? Let me show you. Yeah. I'm a bad player. If you know a bit of Arduino, you know that you cannot give inputs to your computer from an Arduino UNO, like a keyboard input for it. It's only available for some other boards like Explora, Dew, MKR family boards. So I used Python with pyfirmata, and thanks to boppreh, I used his keyboard library for doing this project. It's really simple to make, but it took me a while to figure out the threshold values for the joystick. But you cannot play it on a phone unless I figure out the port to which the Arduino connects to your phone. W, A, S, D, and if you click here, you activate the keyboard. It's actually space. So let's see how I did this. The connections are really simple. We just connect the two analog pins like the VRX and VRY to A1 and A2, and the switch is connected to digital pin 8 of Arduino,
and the ground as well as the 5 volts are connected respectively.
If you look, you can see I have soldered a resistor there. It is between the 5 volt and the switch pin. If we want to connect a switch to the Arduino, we have to configure it in the input pull up state or the pull down state. You can actually solder a resistor on the PCB of the joystick itself, but I have soldered it and it was having some problems, like it was always giving me float. So I searched about it and I found this. Now let's talk about the code. Before doing anything, first we have to upload a sketch to our Arduino to work with pyfirmata. Go to the Arduino software, go to the examples, you get a code called standard firmata. You can select that and you have to upload it to the Arduino to work with pyfirmata. We need to import pyfirmata, keyboard module and time. Here you have to enter the port's name to which your Arduino is connecting. I am using a Linux device, that's why I'm getting this. If you are using a Windows device, you might be getting COM and the rest. You can go check out that from the Arduino IDE. Find the VRX and VRY as analog inputs, log pins 1 and 2 respectively, and they are configured as inputs here. Another thing that I soldered resistor to the joystick is because the pyfirmata do not support input pull up, and here I am setting the push button as digital and input, and it is configured as the pin 8, just initial values for X and Y. This is the code where we want to repeat. This was always getting an error, and I figured it out. That was because whenever we are connecting the Arduino, the joystick initially gave a none value, so it was always error, so I couldn't run the code. That's why I added a check like this. So if it isn't enough, I can go and print the values coming from the analog port. Similarly, we are also reading the y-axis. This is where we are using the keyboard module. So for going down, we need to press the S key. Right here, I have figured out the threshold values for our joystick, and it's between 0.9 and 0.3 and 0.6. You have to figure it out. I think there are some minor flaws in my joystick. One thing to remember is that pyfirmata is not going to give the values exactly like that you would get from Arduino IDE, so there are some difference. Here's the key. I'm using keyboard.press, and here I'm using the letter S, and to release it, that is, if I have moved away the joystick, release the S. And similarly we can do the same for up, left. For the push button, I'm just reading it, and if the value from the switch is equal to 0, then press, and if it is equal to 1, then release it. Using a pull-up resistor, the value would always be equal to 1. So if you are using Linux, you may need to run it as a root. So maybe you have to create a virtual environment for that. I have already created it, and now let's run it from the terminal. So here the code is sudo python3 and whatever the name of your file. As I move it forward, you get W printed, downward S printed, A printed, D, and here you go, space. It's ready. You just need to open the Subway Surfers from your browser and just play it. Make this joystick controller more comfortable, I just cut out some cardboard pieces. So